Day 6, welcome to another Advent Calendar video. Today we're going to talk about gesture recognizers, and they are really powerful when it comes to customizing your user interfaces to add tappable or swipeable or pinching areas where normally nothing would happen. So to get started, let's fire up Xcode and create a new project. Let's call it GestureRecognizer. Hit next and create a simple project, and I've already prepared an image that we're going to use, so I'm just dragging that to my project only in 2x resolution. That will do for our demo purposes. And we are starting off with a little image view, and by default you can't really do anything with an image view. I'm just resizing it a little here and add my image here by writing its name, which is simply image, and then I change the content mode to aspect fill. And then I also, as you can see, the image is a little larger than it should be. I select clip to bounds, and with that our image is just visible in the bounds of the image view. And now the cool thing about gesture recognizers is that you can apply them to almost every UIKit object. So all I need to make sure is that I activate the user interaction enabled box in the attributes inspector. Without this checkbox set, you actually cannot perform any gesture recognition tasks. And adding gesture recognizers is really simple. Let's just start off with a simple swipe gesture recognizer. We can simply do that here in Interface Builder, search for the gesture recognizer, and add that right here to our view controller scene. And with that, we have our swipe gesture recognizer. Now, all we need to do is configure it. So I'm pretty content with the swipe direction to the right. One touch is also all right, so all I need to do now is connect my image view with the swipe gesture recognizer. So I press Control on the keyboard and click drag to the swipe gesture recognizer and select the outlet collections gesture recognizers. And with that, they are connected. And now I can choose what action I'd like to perform once the user swipes on the image. So I'm bringing up the assistant editor, selecting my swipe gesture recognizer, and simply press Control here and a Control drag to my view controller class, and I release it and I select action, and then my name for that action is going to be image swiped, and I connect that. And then all I need to do here to demonstrate this is printing, for example, image was swiped, and then I run this, but not on the iPhone 7 Plus. Let's do that on the iPhone 7 and run this in the simulator. And here we go. Here's our image. I swipe to the left, nothing happens. I swipe to the top, nothing happens. I click, nothing happens. But if I swipe to the right, we get our console output, image was swiped. And you could do actually a lot of more things on that action, or in that action triggered by a user interaction in that case. So this is one way of doing things like that. The other thing is to do that in code. So let's maybe add a label. You can also add an action to that, and I'm going to make this maybe a two-lined label, so 2 lines of text. And to get another line, I press Option on my keyboard and hitting return, and then 2 lines of text. Here we go. Then I add another line here in the attributes inspector and resize this a little here, and with that we're done. And then I create an outlet for my label. Let's just say text label here, connect that, and then in view.load in my view controller class, I'm going to add a new gesture recognizer in code, and you're going to see this is pretty simple. So all we need is a gesture recognizer. I'm going to say this is a tap gesture recognizer. And then we initialize that with UI tap gesture recognizer. And then we have 2 parameters that we need to specify here. First, this is the target. This is going to be our class view controller. And the second is a selector, nothing else but a function that we have to state. And this function is going to be triggered by that tap gesture. So I'm adding a function here, which is going to be label tapped. And as a parameter, we can enter a recognizer which is a UI tab gesture recognizer. We don't have to return anything here. And then we again simply make a print statement here, and we say label tabbed. And then all we need to do is to configure a tab gesture recognizer. For example, you could add the number of tabs required, let's say 1. And then we can add this gesture recognizer to our text label. So I choose the text label and say add gesture recognizer, and then I only append here my tab gesture recognizer. And again, what we have to do is make sure that text label.user interaction or is user interaction enabled, that we set this to true, otherwise this won't work. So this is how simple it is to add a gesture recognizer. Now we shouldn't forget to specify the selector here. So we have our view controller class, view controller, and the label tabbed function. And with that, we're really done, and we can run this in the simulator and see if we can actually tab our label. And here we go. We can swipe our image and we can tab our label, and we can click on different areas here in our view controller and nothing happens, and only here in our label we actually trigger that function. So this is how simple it is to add gesture recognizers. We've seen a tab gesture recognizer added in code. You've seen a swipe gesture recognizer added in Interface Builder. And as you can see, there are all of the gesture recognizers here available in the object library, so you do not have to do it in code, but now you know both ways. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.